Hey guys, I just wanted to say thank you for using my creator code whenever you purchase any Sims 4 DLC on the EA app or thesims.com. I receive a 5% commission each time you use my code, which means you're directly supporting me as a creator. I know there are a lot of codes floating around out there, so I am very grateful that you've chosen me to support in this way. Thank you so much. Hey guys, it is MissSimReno. If you are returning to the channel, welcome back. And if you're brand new, I am very excited that you decided to join me here today for another speed build. And we're actually in Oasis Springs, and we're building something very contemporary. At least that's how the inspiration picture was labeled. I'm going to put it on screen for you now. And this is actually, I think it's a model or a toy. I don't remember. I didn't go to the actual website itself, but I believe it was a model or like a dollhouse or something, which is so cool. It's like a contemporary ranch. That's how it was labeled. And I think it has some mid-century components. I could be completely wrong, but I really liked it. The shape looked, number one, simple enough to replicate in The Sims. And number two, it was just really different. I haven't built something like this in some time. I thought it would be perfect for Oasis Springs with some greenery. I didn't want it just sat in the desert. So we are building on this lot. I think it's called Nookstone. I think that's the original lot name. I want to say it is. And the lighting is actually terrible. So for the thumbnail, I turned this build around, but I built it in this direction of the actual lot. So, you know, the front of the lot is actually facing the road, which makes sense. But as you can see, the structure itself came together in about 2 seconds. Y'all, it was quite literally 3 boxes. Like, that's what I did. I made 3 boxes and I used some platforming just to kind of give it a little bit more height and a little bit more dimension. I pretty much tried to replicate the landscaping in the inspo image as well, which was really nice. It just translated so well to The Sims, which rarely happens. So I was thrilled. And even though this really isn't my style, I really like this build. I thought it came out really nice. And at first I was going to try to make it a starter home. I really was. I was like, I think I could do it. It's small enough. Like the footprint is small enough. If I'm careful with the landscaping, which is typically always debug anyway, as well as the furnishings, I think I can do it. But the second I got inside and started furnishing it, like I started with the kitchen, I was like, no, it's not gonna be a starter home. Now this is a 1-bedroom, 1-bathroom home though. The biggest room, oddly enough to me, was the kitchen and dining space. I mean, I guess that's not too odd. When you combine those two things, sometimes you can need a little bit more space than you might anticipate. But the living room is very tiny. It's not my favorite living room, in the sense of like, well, basically pertaining to the size, like it's not my favorite living room, but all the light that comes in and the way everything looks, oh, I really liked it. Now, what I think I would change as I'm watching this footage back and thinking about the final product, I do wall in the living space. And I think what I might change is getting rid of the wall that separates the living room from the entryway. The more I think about it, it isn't really necessary. I think I only did it because I wanted to use this accordion door again. So I used them on 2 walls, 2 adjacent walls. Is that the term I'm looking for? I think the 2 adjacent walls. So they basically, 2 of the corners, like they touch in one of the corners. I probably would have gotten rid of the second accordion door that I end up putting in this. I think that's what I would do. But as you can see, like I said, we started in the kitchen and the dining room. It's so dreamy and airy and light. There's not a lot of saturation. There's like pops of green with the curtains and then some plants that I put throughout this entire build, but it's mainly like sandy tones, beige, creams. There's like the nice dusty pink of the Desert Luxe couches that I use. And that was kind of my focus too, is I wanted to use the Desert Luxe kit a little bit more. I used it once because I built an Adobe style home in Oasis Springs as well. And I really liked it, but I went very dark with that one. This one, because I've been doing such dark interiors lately, I wanted to kind of challenge myself, get out of my groove and try to do something that was really light, really airy, and not very cluttered at all. Like this is very, very lightly decorated, which if y'all have been around the channel, you know I go nuts with decorations. I do. I like things to look lived in and decorated. I don't like empty wall spaces. They drive me up a wall, pun fully intended. So this was really hard, but the Home Chef Hustle kitchen I love it. I love it so, I love it so much. It's perfect. I will say, like, that stuff pack, very underwhelming for me. I was so excited for the return of stuff packs, and that stuff pack did not deliver. But as a builder, love the kitchen. Love the build and buy. I think that's great. Gameplay-wise, not really my thing. Anyway, this is going to be the living room. So like I said, it's a bit small, and I'm about to put up a wall with the other accordion door, and I really wish I hadn't. I think I might, maybe I'll do this before I upload it to the gallery. I think I'll get rid of that wall. The only reason that I put it up too, it wasn't just for the accordion door, now that I remember. It was so I could put the TV somewhere, because I wanted the couches against those windows, because I thought that the TV would block more of that light, and I didn't want that. So I needed a place to put the TV that didn't feel like it was out in the middle of nowhere. Oh, that's kind of tough. It's not my best design decision. Like, we can be honest, it's okay. If you love it, that's fantastic. If you don't like it, you can change it, right? But I was working with what I had at the time, and that was the main challenge, I think, as well as decorations, like I mentioned, because I wanted to go overboard, and I really, really held back. It was really hard. It was really tough. But the living room came together in about 0.5 seconds because it was a tiny square, and now we're working on the entryway in this big long hallway. So the bedroom is off to the right, and then the bathroom is kind of at the end of the hallway, which I have to say too, the bathroom's not my favorite, but it works for the build. I might be being more critical just because this really isn't my style of building or interior design at all. Like, I wouldn't live here. I like it, but I wouldn't live here. I need so much more color and energy and mismatching and patterns and like all this other stuff. Like this is more minimal to me. It's just not my style at all. It really isn't. So I wouldn't live here. But that also made it extra difficult for me to decorate. So I decorated the entryway a bit, and then I quickly wanted to make sure that I had the bedroom really figured out, that I knew where to place the windows because I hadn't placed windows yet, and I added this walk-in closet. I wanted to make sure that the style worked, of course, for what I was going for. And I use this bed from Dream Home Decorator. It's perfect. Same with the end tables. And then I just add a mirror above the bed. I think I add a rug, which I size up. It's one from, I think, City Living, and I sized it up to like 2 or 3, but it was perfect. I liked the texture and everything on it, and the color matched great. And these little end ottomans here, these poofs, from Life and Death, which is, I can't say it's surprising, I just didn't know they were in the catalog until I found them as I was doing this build. I also had a chair in the corner with a lamp, another plant, and a piece of artwork, which is like a desert landscape since they're in Oasis Springs. And that's where I kept it. I left it there, that's it. Then I added a couple bookcases in the hallway, another piece of artwork, and left it at that, which was really hard to do. This hallway looked so empty and barren to me. It hurt me. So I started to add like sconces. I'm like, no, don't go overboard. You can add 1 sconce. That's it. You are limited to 1 sconce. No more. I know they save lives, but please don't put a sconce outside of every single door in this build. It does not call for it. Don't do it. It was tough. It was really hard. This is why it's so difficult for me to step out of my comfort zone with building and do different styles. Like, even if you all end up liking the result, even if I like the result, even if I end up being proud of myself for what I did, I don't like doing it sometimes because I want to really, really enjoy a build if I'm spending the time on it. I don't know. This makes me sad. It sounds like I'm complaining about everything. I'm not, I promise. I'm not complaining about everything. This was just uncomfortable for me, and I haven't stepped outside of that comfort zone in a really long time now, it feels. Ever since the beginning of the year, even the end of last year, when things were a little bit more sporadic for me, I was building things that I just loved, with objects I loved and styles that I loved. And this is the first time in, let's say, at least 6 or 7 months that I've stepped out of that comfort zone. So it was really difficult for me. But I am very proud of the end result. Now in the back, there's basically no room for anything. So I added some outdoor trash cans. I think I added a bench from, well, actually, I think it's technically a sofa. But there's a bench from the Desert Luxe kit that I add back there. And then a couple of gardening pots, and that's it. Because I didn't want it to look too busy in such a small space as well. I tried a few things here in the front, but I ended up keeping it as is, adding a mailbox, maybe adding a few more landscaping details. I think I add the grass details from Cottage Living. And in the screenshots and in the upload to the gallery, those aren't even going to be there because I didn't like how it looked. This was a very polished, clean build, and the unkempt grass didn't really fit for me, so I ended up getting rid of it. But I hope you all enjoyed this one. I can't wait to hear your thoughts, and I will catch you next time I post a video, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.
wide awake. All the memories are on replay. I reach for you, but you're thousands of miles away. Every heartbeat, every breath is filled with thoughts of you. I am so lost without you, and I don't know what to do. Sleepless nights, filled with all the things I didn't say, that I will make it okay. Turn back time